Hey everybody, today's video is inspired by the many amazing books that I've been reading lately by Indian American authors or books that are out of India published here in the United States. I have so many great titles to tell you all about, so we better get started. Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. It's Russell with Ink and Paper Blog. How are you doing today? I hope you are doing very, very well. And I hope that your reading is going fantastic. So this weekend I attended my friend Ryan's book club at his local library where we just sit around and we talk about the books that we've been reading. And Sue, who is a viewer of my channel and now a friend, had mentioned to me that I had been reading a lot of books about India or inspired by India and or by Indian American authors, and I was really talking about them because they were so amazing. And she suggested that I do a video, and here we are today. So today's video is inspired by the many amazing books that I've read lately, either by Indian American authors or authors that currently live and reside in India. I think one of them actually may reside in the UK in my to-be-read pile. So I'll figure that one out when I talk about it. But I have 3 books that I've read, 1 book that I'm in the middle of, and then 3 books that I hope to read. So as always, get out your pen, get out your paper, get out your Goodreads, get out however you keep track of your TBR. If you are so able, get these books from your local independent bookstore and or get your library to get a copy of them and read them as soon as possible, because I promise you, I know the 4 that I've read are amazing and I have really high hopes for the other 3. So we might as well share the love. That's what I meant to say there. The first book I'm going to talk about, I did a read and reviewed on not that long ago, and that's The Story of a Goat by Perumal Murugan. I'm going to hold his name up there because I know I am saying that wrong. And this is translated from the Tamil by N. Kalan Raman. So I hope I said that one a little bit better. I apologize. This is out from Black Cat here in the United States. I do know it's also published elsewhere, so you can get your hands on it. The Story of a Goat is sort of a fable about an elderly couple that lives in a part of India that is heavily drought-ridden. Most of the people in their community are just struggling to get by. And one day the husband is walking home and he runs into this giant of a man who is carrying a tiny goat. And the man is trying to find somewhere a home for this goat. So he gives it to the old man, and the old man brings it home to his wife. And at first she's like, we don't really need another goat. We can barely sort of support the livestock and ourselves that we already have. But the goat turns out to be an integral part of their family. She falls in love with it and raises it. And the story is twofold. One, we learn about the dynamics of this couple's life. They have a daughter that lives some distance away. There's a lot of discussion regarding political parts of India and how you have to sort of present to the government what you own and how you own it, especially livestock. This was really interesting that they would, the man had to bring this goat and then sort of register it with the state. And they asked questions like, who is the mother goat? Who is the father goat? Where did it come from? All very, very interesting sort of dynamic. But it's also the story of this goat growing up in this world, becoming an adult goat, falling in love, sexual awakening. So it's sort of this interesting dichotomy of these 2 tales as they go together, and sort of the couple learns more about themselves as the world continues to be tough on them, and the goat as she grows up and learns what it's like to live in this world as well. It has a lot to think about. It's a tough book to talk about because there's so many layers to the narrative. I absolutely loved it. So that is The Story of a Goat by Perumal Murugan, translated from the Tamil by N. Kalan Raman, out from Black Cat. Black Cat is a imprint of Grove, I believe. I'm 100% sure of that. I don't know why I said I believe. So yeah, really loved this one. The next one is an Indian American author, and I read this book last year, I think, maybe even 2 years ago now, and that is No One Can Pronounce My Name by Rakesh, and this is out from Picador. And this book, this cup is so good. Now, This is really a story in two parts. We have two main characters here, okay? We have Harit, Harit. He is a sort of a middle-aged Indian American man, lives with his mother. They are dealing with the death of his sister, and sort of the impetus at the beginning of the novel is that when he comes home from work, he dresses as his sister so that his mother doesn't recognize that his sister has passed away. And he has never really come into his own. He's never really discovered who he is because he has always sort of been the family guy. He's always sort of had this obligation to his family. So one part of the story is not only his sort of relationship with his mother in dealing with his guilt over his sister's death, but also his own sort of coming of age tale later in life, which I absolutely loved. And then the other main character is Ranjana, and she is a mother of one, a young son who is going off to college. She has been married to her husband for some time, and now they're going to be in the house together alone now that her son has gone to college. And she is determining, like, what is her life? What does she want now that she has this free time? And she meets people, and then her and Harit meet each other. They develop a friendship, and the book is really about self-discovery of who you are as an adult, coming into your own maybe a little bit later than you thought you would in life. There is a queer love story part of this. There's just a lot to unpack in this lovely, heart-wrenching, beautiful, beautiful book. So that is No One Can Pronounce My Name by Rakesh, Satyal, and this is out now from Picador. So I actually realize now that I'm doing this video that I have picked a video and a topic where I am going to struggle with a lot of names. You guys know how bad I am at pronunciation. Not even names only, but also just words sometimes. It just comes from my life as an introverted reader, teaching myself to sound out words. So I apologize to all the authors in advance if I mispronounce your names. No malintention, it's just my brain works in a certain way. The next book I'm going to tell you about, which blew me away, was a debut novel. Now, Sobha Rao had a short story collection that came out before this, and this was her first novel, and that's Girls Burn Brighter. And this was one of my favorite debuts, I want to say, of 2 years ago now. This is the story of a friendship of two young girls in India. One is the daughter of a silk. I think he makes saris. He makes saris, and then the other girl is from a very, very poor family that comes to work for the family, and it's about the friendship of these two girls. Something goes horribly awry, and one of the girls winds up in America and is put into sort of the sex trade, and she's trying to figure out her way in the world. And the other girl is put into an arranged marriage that goes, again, horribly wrong. This book is about two women who have a lot of stuff that just never goes in their favor, but how strong they are to continue to survive through it, and how underneath it all, their friendship is sort of this lifeline that they both hold on to as the world sort of just keeps continually trying to knock them down. And so that is Girls Burn Brighter by Sobha Rao, and this book was brilliant, heart-wrenching, eyeballing, sobbing goodness. The book that I am currently reading right now was actually just longlisted for the Penn Faulkner Award, and I had bought it actually a couple weeks before. I think I read a review in a magazine, and that is A People's History of Heaven by Mathangi Subramanian, and I know I'm saying that name right. Sorry. She's local to me, Dr. Subramanian, and this book is blowing my mind. Here, I'm like this far into it. I'm absolutely loving it. This is the story of a small sort of slum community in the middle of a big city in India. It's in the middle of Bangalore, India, and we have a slum sort of community community where a group of young girls, 5 young girls who are friends, live with their mothers and their fathers. Some of them have fathers, but this book is really about the girls and their mothers. And what has happened is the government is trying to come in and destroy this community in order to build on it. And it is the fight of these young girls and the mothers to save their homes because they have nowhere else. There's not an option given, hey, go here because we need this. No, it's we're going to destroy this and figure your life out. And this is also a book about those 5 young girls. And are they from all different types of backgrounds, different upbringings. There is a transgender young girl in this. Her story is fantastic. There is a young girl who is blind. It's about education. It's about friendship. It's about culture. And it's about home and a sense of home. Loving it. Absolutely loving it. So that's A People's History of Heaven by Mathangi Subramanian. And this is out now from Algonquin Books. And yeah, absolutely loving it. So now I have 3 books that are on my TBR. One is actually my book club book that I recommended and we all agreed on. And that is Night Theater by Vikram Paralkar. And he is actually, where does he live now? Do you live in, I think, Pittsburgh? Hold on. Philadelphia. I knew it was a Pennsylvania city. And he and his husband, I think, just got married. So congratulations there. This is the story of a doctor, a well-off doctor in a big city in India, where a scandal occurs and he winds up having to move to a small remote town because of the scandal. And he becomes the doctor of this town. And an event happens where a family is murdered, and their spirits come to him with sort of a proposition. If he can heal their bodies or repair their bodies, they will be able to live again. Now, I am just going to, this book is out now. You can get your hands on it now. But I'm going to read you the first sentences, and I think you guys are going to get in. You guys are going to be bought in. You're going to go buy this book right now. Chapter 1. The day the dead visited the surgeon, the air in his clinic was laced with formaldehyde. His pharmacist had poured some into a beaker in the operating room and given it a night to scour every corner. Once the door was open, the acrid fumes spilled into the corridor, and death leached out of the walls. This was the usual death, the mundane kind, that of insects and vermin. Do you need more? I thought that is such a, I'm bought in. So that is Night Theater by Vikram Paralkar, out from Catapult Books. Get your hands on this right now. I promise you will not be disappointed because I'm so excited for that one. The next book is a book that was sent to me by HMH last year and has been sitting on my TBR for some time. And it is a fantasy novel. And from what I can tell, the author is quite prolific in India. And this may be his first book published in America. Don't take my words on that. I don't know if that's exactly true. But that's Upon a Burning Throne by Ashok K. Banker. And it says here he has more than 60 books, including the internationally acclaimed Ramayana series. And he currently lives in Los Angeles. And yeah, for some reason I thought this was the first time, maybe it's the first time this book's been published in the US. But this is a fantasy series where it says, in a world where demigods and demons walk among mortals, the emperor of the vast burnt empire has died, leaving a turbulent realm without a leader. 2 young princes, Adri and Shavat, are in line to rule, but birthright does not guarantee inheritance. Any successor must sit upon the legendary burning throne and pass the test of fire. Imbued with dark sorceries, the throne is a crucible, one that incinerates the unworthy. Adri and Savat pass the test and are declared heirs to the empire, but there's another with a claim to power, another who also survives, a girl from an outlying kingdom. The only issue I have with this book is, look at it. It's a tomb, but I have to sit down and I need to just go through it. But I think it sounds fantastic, and I think that cover is just gorgeous. So that's Upon a Burning Throne by Ashok K. Banker, and this is out now. It actually came out in April of last year, and it's been staring at me. And yeah, last but not least, and this is the one I think I said earlier, that the author actually lives in Sheffield. So he is actually British. But this book was either longlisted or shortlisted shortlisted for the Man Booker Prize a few years ago. And that is The Years of the Runaway by Sunjeev Sahota. I'm going to hold that up there to get his names right. I don't think I need to talk too much about this book because I know that it was talked about a lot when it was on the short list of the Booker Prize. But he was also made, I think he was one of Granta's best young British novelists. Yes, he was. So this book is about 3 young men and 1 unforgettable woman come together in a journey from India to England where they hope to begin something new, to support their families, to build their futures, to show their worth, to escape the past. They almost have no idea what awaits them. Yeah, so I love it. I think it sounds like a saga of people's lives as they try to change their life, develop their life, come to terms with their life. I've heard nothing but fantastic things about it. So that's The Years of the Runaways by Sunjeev Sahota, and I'm going to hold that up again. Yeah, and that's the last book in this pile. Let's see if I can get this pile up so you guys can see all of those titles again. There we go. Gosh, these are a bunch of door knockers. So that is a stack of books inspired by either books out of India or Indian American or Indian British writers that I have been reading or are super excited to read. I hope all of them wound up on your TBR because they are amazing. I know they are. So, as always, if you're a return subscriber, I say thank you. I could not do this without you. If you're new to my channel, I hope you like what you saw and you stay around for some more. As always, I encourage you to read globally, shop locally. Until next time, I wish you happy reading. Bye.